So proudly we hail, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the path.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gary. Welcome to the Freedom Network. We are live. It is Halloween. Yes, it is. Very scary time of year. Constitution for Freedom at gmail.com is how you get in touch with us, or you can certainly call 508-266 right up there on your screen, 0990. I will give you some full disclosure. I don't have a lot of battery, and of course, I didn't bring the old cord. I do have the old cellular with a little bit of battery, so I should be able to get your emails right through the end of the show. I'll get through as much of the content as we can before we lose power. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I just didn't bring it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, it's Halloween, folks. It's a scary time of year. A little bit of the history of Halloween. You know, it's an annual holiday, obviously. So I went on to history.com. We celebrate each year in October. And it's interesting, you know, this originated with the ancient Celtic people and festivals, and they would light bonfires and wear costumes to scare off ghosts. It says here, this was obviously back in the 18th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor. Really a time to honor All Saints. All Saints Day then incorporated some of the traditions that they had. And before it was known as Halloween, it was All Hallows Eve. And now it's just, you know, generated into what it is today, which is a big trick-or-treat festival for the youngins. Everybody's out there getting candy. We're going to be in here talking freedom. You know, between the parade today, traffic was light. I expected some light traffic tonight because I think everybody's out trick-or-treating. I know of a few people that are walking around trick-or-treating with their mobile device. So that's always good because they have us on. So welcome to you. You know, I mean, do people really need to throw beer bottles and stuff at people on the duck boats today? I'm just watching the newswire while I still have it. I mean, the parade for the Red Sox, right? And wow, for the Red Sox, huh? I mean, World Series champs. But people throwing stuff, throwing beers and hitting people, and people on the duck boats, people on the trains and things like that, and the crowds. I got to tell you, people are stupid. That's stupid. If you're throwing beer cans around, that's stupid. There were about 6 arrests, so I guess not too bad considering all the people. But, I mean, really, come on, folks. Is that what we're doing now? Oh, God. All right. So let's back up just a little bit. And by the way, any topic, anytime, doesn't matter what it is. We always have an open line for whatever you want. Have some video clips we're going to play today. Just some short clips. And some information that we'll get out there, of course. We'll talk about whatever it is that you want. Last week was all about the schools. All right? That's what it was about. And thank you, by the way, for that text that just came in. You know, it's amazing the amount of communication I have right here at my fingertips. You have no idea the multitasking I can do while doing the Freedom Network. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm going to tell you this, all right? And I'm not going to go on and on. You guys call in all you want, email all you want about it. That's fine. But I am going to take a few minutes, and I am going to tell you that while I'm beyond aggravated with the reality that when I had the school committee on the show, they did not disclose this sliding payment plan on the program, which they certainly could have. But that said, I am going to tell you, I don't have any answers. I don't have any magic wand. Can't tell you, hey, do this, and this will be better. Because the reality is that we're in a corner. We're in a crappy situation. And it seems like we either repair or we build new, Doesn't matter how much you want to blame the past, how much it doesn't matter, because here we are. So what matters about the past is, does it indicate the future? So we build a new school. How are we going to take care of it? Where is that money going to come from? You've certainly got your 2.5% that will go every single year, I'm sure, above and beyond. This is just how it works. So taxes will continue to go up. What are we actually getting? How do we protect the investment? These are all very valid questions and lots of emails that I've got. I'm just not sure right now. I'm at a point that I am going to really support an entity that came here to bring facts and left out a very important one, which is, yeah, your payment, really isn't. And there was a lot of arguing and debating, which I think is fantastic. I see it all out there online. And, excuse me, I'm all choked up about it. There was a lot of info out there. And there was a lot of debating out there. And, my issue is that that's very important and that it should have been discussed. We are arguing about the meaning of average almost to a point of nauseam, to be honest with you. I think it was very clear. And they did say, when we talked on the show, and I talked about the $1.85, they did say, when I said that, they said on average. I inferred from that, as I know a lot of you did, on average meaning some would pay more, some would pay less, based upon the value of the home. Also in the example that I gave, I clearly said, so this is a good average, and with this average, we can estimate what our bills would be. That was okayed on the program. It was right here. So I understand that you slipped in the word average. I get all that, which actually makes me a little more aggravated because you didn't explain what it meant. But that's okay. That's okay, right? We're all big boys and girls, I guess. I'm not stupid. I do realize that things do need to happen with the schools. That's just a fact. It's just a reality. Now, in hindsight, maybe in the future, why don't we have 2 questions that we could vote on? Why wouldn't that be viable? Why not an absolute plan where one can be for a new school like we have, and one can be to fix the schools, and let the people decide? Where was the decision made that there would be no option for the people, I wonder? There were a lot of questions that I could have asked that I didn't. And as I said last week, I do apologize for that. I guess to both ends. Maybe if I had asked the right questions, we wouldn't be in a mess. But I really always thought the purpose of them being here was to just put facts out there. Why gloss over that very important one? So, what's the best answer? I don't know what the best answer is. I'm not going to say that you should support this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit on the program any longer and say you should support the proposal that's out there. Principles need to mean something. In all honesty, they really do, especially when it comes to government. And when you have government on asking for all the facts and they bring most of the facts, that's not okay. It means all the facts. It was just a forum that was designated for that purpose, and it just didn't happen. Now, I've not had much dialogue with the school committee this past week, okay? Very, very little bit of dialogue. Very, very little. Just a few sentences, I guess you could say. But there was no outreach from them to me or the show as to why they didn't tell people that the payment scale was a fluid one on the show. I had hoped that would have happened. I would have listened. I absolutely would have listened. But I do want to tell you, because people have asked, no, I am not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. The fact of the matter is that conversation has not happened between us. I would love for it to have, and maybe I'd have a different tone in the show, but it didn't. So I want to talk about actual costs for a minute. I do want to talk about a flyer that's been circulated from the other side. But first, I did want to show you. Do we have those videos? We do. All right, so here's what I was thinking. I want to first play, if we can, the reemergence, and these are all from the show, It was like a show. From the meeting, I want to play, and I've got my trusty remote control here. I've got so much technology in front of me, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it if you knew me. But I want to look at the reemergence of Mike Dutra at the meeting. This is a video. I don't know if it's the audio should be good. We'll see what the video is, how it pans through here for you. But I just wanted to play this for you because, you know, there was some colorful moments from Mike, and let's watch them. Go ahead.
At all. You gain much more equity by the new school being here than the taxes ever cost you. It's like buying a stock. The town becomes worth more with the new school. So here's some real interesting facts. Marlboro, when the story broke that Marlboro is getting a new elementary school, and this is only true of elementary schools. I looked at the data in middle schools and high schools, and you can't make this argument. With an elementary school, you can. When Marlboro officially passed that they were going to get a new elementary school, the next 12 months, property values went up 10.1%. In Wareham, when they broke the story, it went up 13.7% in the next 12 months. In Carver, which is no man's land, if you know it, they don't have big property value increases there. They went up 8.7% in the next 12 months. Hopkinton went up 7.4% when the story broke. As you can see, a new elementary school brings in big equity gains from the homeowners in the community.
You're asked the question without going into a lot of rhetoric about others.
The question is directed, Mr. Moderator, the question was, and I'm completing it, how comes no one's talking about the equity being gained in our homes when the new school is completed?
Okay, that is the question.
To continue the data to support the question. Conversely, less desirable or poorly rated school systems saw no gains during the same
I'm going to
amount of
call
time.
you out of order if you stop continuing on with more rhetoric without getting an opportunity for people to
I didn't see the
ask
same thing
question.
happen with the woman that had the MGA, the Trump talk going, sir. With all due respect, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you.
So if I may continue.
No, you may not. You're out of order. You're out of order. You asked a question.
If someone else would continue this,
you
I'm
asked
going to
a
leave it up
question,
here.
and you have not given us the chance to answer that question.
I would like to have my question answered, Mr. Moderator,
Please
very
be
respectfully.
seated, and we'll have other people a chance to speak.
My question was never answered, Mr. Moderator. How come no
You
one's
haven't had
talking
a
about the
chance.
equity?
Please take a seat, and we'll try to answer that question.
All right. You know, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, I got to be honest with you. I've been in that position that Mike was in when you get gavelled down, different moderator, same deal. Other people can speak, I guess. Sometimes you can't. But, you know, I did meet up and say hi to Mike, and I told him that we would get him on the network. I just thought that was very interesting. Always colorful. What can I tell you, man? Always colorful. Always colorful. Email comes in from Mike, very sad. Was at a point in our town where you can't afford the public servants you can't trust the public servants to tell the whole truth. Now we need to do FBI investigations to make sure we're not being lied to. You know, I don't know if the FBI is coming in, Mike, but I hear you, man. It does. It's eerie. And that wasn't Mike Dutra. That's a different Mike, just to separate the two. But yeah, Mike, I've been there, but I do have one question for you. If all the values of the homes are going to go up, then the valuations of the homes could go up. And if the valuations of the homes go up, then our taxes go up. So, I mean, to me, this is just it's a never-ending well of taxes. It's like, what do people think that human beings are made of? We're to get up, go to work, to pay taxes, to fund every darn thing that you folks want to do out there. And I don't mean just in the town. I mean everywhere. All right, let's look now at what started the actual cost conversation. This is a clip from Barry. This was also from the meeting. We'll get through it hopefully quickly. I know he was on a little bit, but hopefully we'll get through it quickly just to get his main point out. Let's roll the tape.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Barry Gallant, 38 Kings North Street. First of all, I'd like to thank all the school committee, building committee members for their hard work. I was associated with the many attempts to try to get a DPW, and we finally got one. My first question on the 558, is that based on the front-loaded interest rate plan?
So the answer to your question is yes.
Okay, so in actuality, the taxpayer or renter would not see that $558 a year on a $301,000 house until year 15, is that correct?
Based on the analysis that we've run, yeah.
Right. So when you talk about a front-loaded interest, basically what that means is that you're having balloon interest at the beginning of the loan. So the first 15 years is significantly higher. So for seniors to get a clearer snapshot of this, for a $301,000 valued house, year one will be $781 a year. That will be on top of the 2.5% regular growth plus the new Community Preservation Act. Year two would be $766 a year. Year three would be $751 a year. And then year 15, again, year 15, you'll see that $558 a year. So I think because...
Can I respond to that?
Sure, go ahead.
So I want to back this up. From the start, we knew that we were going to calculate a number to represent the impact, knowing that the borrowing would not occur until after November 6th. We met with our representative from Unibank, the town manager was there, the town accountant, member of the Board of Selectmen, and we calculated a conservative rate at 4.5%, which is what you're referring to, over the 30-year borrowing term. And we came out with the calculated cost where, yes, year one, the impact is $781, and in year 30, the impact is $347 based on that $301 valuation. From those calculations, the committee has always stated that the $558 is the average impact. And it's the best way to gauge the average home value at $301,000. So that's typical for conveying the scale of this project and for other projects like this that have gone through the MSBA process.
Thank you, Joe, but like I said, I just wanted to bring clarity to that point because there are some calls that I got from seniors, shut-ins, people on fixed income, the economically challenged, that thought, that it was going to be $540 every year for 30 years. And this fact has to be brought out that the first 15 years, it is significantly higher, and they won't see that 500 and something. And it's my understanding, on a house valued at $201, the first year will be $531.
All right, and they went on and went on in depth a little bit. Let me just refer to Northbridge Public Schools frequently asked questions sheet number 13. What is the tax impact? Let me back up for a minute. If he had just said that when he was sitting here, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in. If there was maybe some kind of outreach or something to the Freedom Network to try to clear up that, we probably wouldn't even be having as in-depth a discussion about it today. But question 13, what is the tax impact? This comes directly from Northbridge Public Schools, frequently asked questions, school building projects pages. The tax income will be approximately $1.85 per thousand assessed on residential value. On an average home assessed at $301,000, that equates to $558 per year, which is equal to $46 per month or $1.52 per day. So let's back up the happy wagon for a second, okay? On an average home assessed at $301,000. Nowhere do they say that the 558 is an average number that's going to float. It's in writing. It's on your website. It doesn't say it. Not right there, it doesn't say it. This is what's driving me crazy, folks. And the silence is deafening. There's no debate about it. Not from the school committee. No engagement about it. The tax impact will be approximately $1.85 per 1,000 of assessed residential value on an average home assessed at $301,000. Average home assessed. So what does average mean? Home assessed, not payment. That equates to $558 per year. Average home assessed. It's enough. It's okay if you want to still believe in it. It's okay if you want to defend the project. It's okay if you want to vote yes. I get it. But to defend how the word average was used, that's how it was used. It's how it was used on the show. That's how it is used on their website in their frequently asked questions. I mean, come on. All right, I got one more I want to show you. This is going to be Shelley Boomer. That was also the topic of some conversation on social media this past week. Let's play the clip.
The chair recognizes Shelley Bumer.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Shelley Buma, 40 Heritage Drive in Precinct 1. Over the past many weeks, taxpayers have been clearly led to believe that the tax impact is indeed a fixed amount, $558 per year for 30 years on the average $301,000 home. That's what we were told, that's what people believed. But instead, tonight, we're learning for the first time through the question from Mr. Gallant that the average home valued at $301,000 will be hit with a tax of $781 in year one. That's 40% more than what has been discussed. And in fact, as Mr. Gallant mentioned, in years 1 through 14, the tax is much higher than $558, the led to believe number, the number that's been flashed around. And it's an insult to voters to just learn about this now. The numbers have been known to Town Hall, and those numbers are totally relevant to the voters, yet they have not been provided to the voters. The town's plan is to hit the taxpayers hard in the first 14 years. That's called a front-loaded tax burden approach, and that's big news. It's new news. It's new big news to people who have been following this matter. It's never smart to conceal information from the taxpayers. $781 is a lot of money for many low-income and fixed-income people in this community, and there are a lot of them. Let's remember the family budget is very important. The front-loaded tax burden approach should have been openly and honestly conveyed from the start. When Town Hall formulated its front-loaded tax plan on paper with the big number of $781 to the average homeowner in year one, that number and the accompanying spreadsheet throughout all the years with the big hit in years 1 through 14, more than the $558 that's been flashed around, that number and that entire spreadsheet should have been shared with the public. And not just today, because someone asked. There's been plenty of opportunity to convey that information. Many weeks leading up to this vote, those numbers should not have been covered up. People at Town Hall knew about it. There is the reality of the cover-up. And yes, you can color it, you can cover it up, you can spin it, you can downplay it all you want. And we will, and we will. You can make excuses for covering it up and not providing the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet and the real numbers could have been provided even today, but they're not. They're sticking with their number of 558. The facts are stubborn things, and the fact remains that Town Hall has known about this front-loaded plan and has failed to openly share it with the public, which it seeks the money from. It's an attempt to get... What truly matters here, Mr. Moderator, is being honest and upfront with the public. People are entitled to know the specific financial burden they will be saddled with. Failure to do so creates a pungent odor around this project. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
You want to rebut to that?
You know, it's interesting to hear the talking and the boo. I was there, and you could hear some boos and some hisses. It doesn't matter Whether you like Shelley, you don't like Shelley, you think Shelley's great, you don't think Shelley's great, it's all irrelevant. She's got a right to speak there. She wanted to say her piece. I'm glad that she was able to get through it. But what's all the snickering? See, this is what I always talk about. I talk about this all the time. It drives me, another thing that drives me insane. There's a lot of things that drive me mad. People wonder, why are you so mad, Gary? Well, I'll tell you, I got a lot of reason to be mad. The yes movement just behaves in a way. Let the woman speak. It's her opinion. It's her right. She's a citizen. It's a citizen's forum. As Barry had said when he spoke, I mean, you know, and somebody before had gone on and on and on. And I'm going to tell you, if that wasn't brought up at that town meeting, then you bet your you know what, that it never would have been brought up there, just as it wasn't brought up here. And they want to hang the hat on the fact that that they said it was an average. It's an average. What is the tax impact? Northbridge Public Schools, frequently asked questions. Question 13, the tax impact will be approximately $1.85 per 1,000 of assessment residential value. On an average home assessed at 301, that equates to $558 per year, $46 a month, or $1.52 a day. Average home assessed. So you could have talked about it here. You could have talked about it at the meeting, but you didn't. So Shelley's right. Shelley's right. Take things issue by issue. She's right. They mentioned it in a meeting, I think once, maybe twice. I could only see record of it once. Everybody doesn't go to every meeting. Let me jump on the phone. Agree or not, you're always welcome. Does not matter. And good evening. You're on the Freedom Network.
Hey, Gary, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. What's up?
Hey, I think that backloaded thing was briefly mentioned by Mr. Struzula at a May 2nd.
Yeah, I think that's
board building meeting.
I think that's the one that's been on
No
Facebook.
figures,
Yeah.
No figures were ever given.
Interesting. Interesting, isn't it?
And the town manager said something like, well, that's the way we paid for the last high school. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Town Manager. But we didn't borrow $53 or $100 million. That was only $23 million that we borrowed for the high school, which was reimbursed at 83%. So you hardly even noticed it in your tax bill.
You know, to me, it's almost like they want to argue over whether they said it, whether they didn't, as opposed to just taking it head on. Contact me, right? I'm here. I'm on Facebook. I got email. I'm here now. They could call. They could have called last week.
Silence is deafening, speaks for itself.
Doesn't it really? I mean, doesn't it really?
It's like they got caught. It's like they got caught with their tails between their legs.
Well, and I think that if Barry didn't bring it up, I think Shelley would have. But either way, I think it was going to come up at that meeting, and that was going to be the first time that many people heard about it. Now, if you are one of those people that go to every meeting, listen to every minute, listen to everything, and that's what you do, then God bless you. That's what you do. Most of us don't. That's why we offered them the forum right here on TV. We offered them on local TV a forum to come to bring all the facts. And we even talked about averages, and they still didn't bring it up. Right. And then I look at their frequently asked questions, and it just proves the point, because they talk about the average, meaning the average assessed home, not the average payment. Nowhere here does it say that the payment's average. It says that the home is average. So, and then they're going, what is it going to be? Well, it wasn't written right, or whatever it is. There always seems to be an excuse. There's always a reason. There's always a something. And that's what's got me so over the top on this. Initially, you and I disagreed on this issue. That's why I'm saying, Paul, to be honest with you, I don't know what the hell to do now. I'm just lost. I'm lost.
Well, I gotta hand it to Shelley. She wrote a great editorial in last week's Tribune.
I saw that. I did see that.
It was beautiful.
I did see that, man. I did. This is just crazy. It just puts everybody in a tailspin, or people that are undecided, or would just flirting yes, or saying maybe we should do it, or they were believing what they heard, and they were believing these numbers, and then all of a sudden they hear one day, on the day they're going to vote, What if they had known that before? Maybe other people would have come. Maybe there would have been more than 50 no votes or whatever the hell were there.
The way they went about this, Gary, was completely ridiculous. They had all those choices, all right? They should have narrowed all those choices down to 3 or 4 and then had a special election.
Why not? That's what I had
All
said
they did
before.
was go by the forums, and nobody went to the forums.
No, they
Hardly
don't.
anybody.
And you know,
30 people there at the most.
You can't sit there and say, well, this is the forum and this is how we're going to do it. It's 2018. You could have done a Facebook Live thing. You certainly came right onto the Freedom Network. They came. They were right here. They could have talked about it. They could have talked about it. I went to a meeting. I did go to one of the meetings. It was at the Senior Center, I believe. And there was no mention, I don't believe, at that meeting of this being a sliding scale where it was actually going to be 35 or 40% more and then slide down. Again, they may have used some words like averages, but we can see in their own frequently asked questions what they meant by average. The backpedaling is what gets me, and that's it. I'm at a complete loss, man.
And the crickets. Don't forget the crickets.
The crickets do make a lot of noise. Tough to sleep with all them crickets, huh?
Hey, have a good one.
You too, man. I mean, he's not wrong. Again, he's not wrong. Some people love Paul. Some people think he's crazy. Some people love Shelley. Some people think she's crazy. Some people love me. Some people think I'm crazy. Doesn't matter. I urge you to take everything issue by issue. So take this issue by issue. Can anybody on the other side, on the I'm a diehard, well, and some people have, and I'm going to give you credit, of course. Some people have on Facebook. They've acknowledged the fact that it was misleading. They still say they're going to be yes, but they've acknowledged it. And I applaud those people. Those are the people I actually respect and want to listen to. I read those posts and those comments word by word, sometimes twice, because that's somebody that actually has some kind of that fabric inside that says, well, wait a minute. I'm still voting yes, but that's crazy. That's crap. That's baloney. And I'm not gonna just give them a free pass on that. But blah 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 blah. That's how I feel. I listen to those. To constantly defend the whole thing about what is an average, what is this? All I'm going to start doing is say question 13. That's my answer to all that. Question 13, clearly defined. It's in writing. It's on your website. The funniest thing and the most ironic thing to this entire problem, as I just was talking to Paul, is that at the end of the day, I'm open to talk about it. I would have been very open to talk to them about it. But as the dialogue between us, emails beforehand that I've said publicly that I would release, I rethought that. I'm not going to do that. I may do it. If I have to do it, I will do it. If I'm not backed into a corner, I won't. And Facebook messages. This was a very cordial relationship, okay? They came, and that's why I just felt so aggravated and so duped about it. And I'm going to be dead honest with you. We got a caller that's we're going to get him right on or her right on. But I'm just, yeah, you know, it's like you should have seen the emails that came into me. Should have seen the emails that came into me. There's got to be some integrity to the Freedom Network. You broke that integrity. That's what I'm mad about. Not that you want to build a new school so much, but I don't know. Politics makes for strange bedfellows, I guess. Any opinion doesn't matter. Agree or disagree, we'll always have you on. So you're next on the Freedom Network. What's up?
Good evening, Gary. Shelley Buma. How are you?
Hey, Shelley, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for continuing to discuss this issue.
Not a problem. I didn't plan to. I'm looking at the clock. I wasn't going to take the whole show, to be honest with you, but I always will let the show go in the direction that the people want, especially the local people, because we're a local show. I love to talk about national stuff and state stuff, but it's a local show. You guys want to keep it local. That's what we do.
Well, it's a very important issue, and much came to light last week. And, as your caller, I think it was someone who emailed in, Mike, said it's totally misleading and certainly raises the question of, can we believe anything that we're being told? What else is being concealed from the public?
I honestly and truly don't know. You're right. These are the kind of things that make you really question everything, especially when given the open format especially when given an opportunity to talk to people that in many cases are not with you, but that are listening. Wouldn't you think full disclosure would be the best course of action at that point? Lay it all out on the table?
Well, it's always the best course of action. Being honest and upfront with the public is always the way to go, and you see the fallout now because they weren't, and it's calling everything into question at this point. And you mentioned about the heckling from others at town meeting, and
Yeah,
and
that was
that's
sad.
I'm a big girl, but it does speak to the issue that some people get angry when you lie to them. I think you're in that camp, Gary, and certainly when I found out that we were being lied to, I was quite upset. But you also find out that other people get angry, perhaps the hecklers, when you tell them the truth. So we've seen both sides of it. And I actually did receive a call this week from an individual in Worcester who's been a part of the Canal District project that's been going on and the Worcester Red Sox project. And he said, gee, Shelley, it's just dawned on me that the proposal in Northbridge, the elementary school, and the Red Sox proposal here in Worcester are both $101 million. So even from outsiders, the price tag of $101 million seems way out there, let's say.
It does sting a little bit. I mean, they soften it with the money from the state. That's still our money, but they do soften it with that. And I think that, and now that I've gotten so many more questions through this whole process, I mean, there's some very valid questions out there. How is it actually being applied when the state, I mean, we had to just apply to get all the money, right? And then we're going to take this money and are we immediately paying off half of this? And is this amount of money that we're going to pay the balance, or is it based on the whole thing? What happens to the money that comes in from the state? Does it go, and I don't know the answer to this, does it go directly to the loan, or do we hold it in escrow and pay it out? I don't even know. And these are questions that didn't come up because we weren't so concerned about the payment at the time of the show because we didn't know we had to be.
Well, Gary, right now, the voter is concerned with brass tacks. The simple question is, how much am I going to pay in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, all the way down through year 30? And you're absolutely right. They put in writing, the proponents of this project, put in writing that it was $558 every year for 30 years. You repeated that lie. I'll tell you what, the Telegram repeated that lie, and everyone around town repeated that lie.
Mm-hmm.
You were at town meeting when Barry broke the news that was a complete falsehood. People were shaking their heads as if, Barry, you're crazy. Others were shaking their head in disbelief. But people there truly believed, with good reason, because it's in writing and it's in the newspaper and you're talking about it, that it's $550 a year, every year, for 30 years for that homeowner who owns a $301,000 home. And that is not true.
No.
So, your broader questions about the money and where it's going and all this kind of stuff, those are other questions for another day. But I'll tell you what, if you can't get a simple answer to your simple question, how much am I going to pay in year 1 up front from the people, you're not going to get answers to your other complicated questions. And who knows what else we're not getting the straight scoop from. We were told, Barry and I had conversations with individuals about this matter before town meeting. They knew the issue was going to be brought up, and we got the excuses like you've been reading about, too. And the excuses were that the voters didn't understand, okay? So the problem's with us. You misunderstood, Gary.
Right.
And then the other excuse was that you didn't ask the right question.
Right.
So it's up to us now to get the flashlight and go underneath the sheets
Yes.
and do all this. And it's, as I said, it's insulting to the voter, and it's never smart to cover up and conceal information from the voters. They have plenty of opportunity. They could have had the little spreadsheet. The other one was, it's too complicated to explain. Wait a minute. On a piece of paper, 6 inches by a half inch, you could give the spreadsheet and the numbers, year 1 through year 30. They had 7 pages of information that were put out
It's a great
to
point.
the public. Highly unusual for that to be done in that warrant booklet that was mailed to everyone. But
Yeah.
they did it.
No, they didn't.
Color.
But yet in the town meeting, if you notice also, I mean, it's interesting, I think, to note in the booklet, was actually a whole bunch of information about this that I've never seen before in any town meeting personally, where there was so much information at the back. Why wasn't that information? Why did the pot people have to hand out flyers, but the school got all their information right into the actual thing, which makes it look more official?
Highly unusual, Gary, but they did it, and they could have taken up another small section in their 7 pages that they were afforded in that booklet that was mailed to everyone and provided to everyone as they walked in to give us the real numbers. They deliberately chose not to, and that's called being crafty. There's no other way to slice this or dice this. They're being crafty, and they deliberately misled. And now it's backpedaling, and as I said, trying to give excuses, cover up, color it any way you want. But that's the fact. If you still want to vote for it, as you said, Gary, and I agree, you want to pay the $781 and risk all the other things that you may not know about this project, and a $54 million project. That's what it's going to cost us. People talk about the new high school. The new high school cost us $4 million. Big difference. And how we funded that is how we funded it. What we're talking about here is how we were lied to and what else we don't know. And that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think well said, Shel. Well said. I do appreciate you calling in.
Thanks for taking the call, Gary. And have a good
Anytime.
night.
All right, you too. There's Shelley. We played. That's a person that we just had on TV. And I got to be honest with you, I can't disagree with you, Shell. I just can't disagree with you. I mean, I'm looking at the information right now that was procured, figures provided by the Northbridge town manager on October 23rd, 2018. All right, so these are very recent numbers, and they go right through it. $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. 01. I don't know what the 01 is. I don't know why they're all. I don't get that, but that's okay. Evidently, I'm stupid and I don't know the right questions to ask, and I need to dig for the information. And that's a great point that Shelley brings up, and that's why I said that. I believe I said it last week, and I know I've said it on Facebook. Never again. Why the hell I trusted, I don't know. I just did. I got taken into that. I did, and I admit it, and there's nothing I can do about it at this point. But boy, was that a misstep on my part. But 300, yeah, you're talking 781 down to 766, 751, 736, 721, 706, 691, 676, 661, 646, 631, 617, 602, 587, 572. And then it goes down to 557, 542, 527, and then it tapers off, 512, 497, and it does taper off. And I'm sure, excuse me, if you do all the averages, that it's going to come out just the way that they say it's going to come out, right? We've all done the math now by this point. And yes, it is an average payment, not nothing to do with that average home value. It just doesn't. Question 13. Question 13. On an average home assessed at 301. The average of the assessed homes in this town is $301,000. We've been saying that now for a while. That equates to $558 per year, which is $46.50 a month, or $1.52 a day. Well, now I start to think to myself, it's another $1.52 a day on top of all the other taxes that I pay. It's another $1.52. I know, we're getting old in the show, and I wasn't even going to go on this long about it, but that's okay. I like you guys to drive it. There is a vote no on question 4. Northbridge, Tuesday, November 6th, Prop 2.5 exclusion tax increase question. And it is. They're trying to do the debt exclusion of Prop 2.5. Let me jump back on the phone. Agree or disagree, it does not matter. I want anyone to call at any time. That is fine with me. So let's get your opinion. How are you?
Hi, Gary. Good. Very good. How are you doing, Gary?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. Just wanted to call and make some comments.
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank Harry Berkowitz and anyone else that was involved from NCTV to put on that meeting so people could view it.
Yeah, Harry does. He goes down. He takes his own time. Obviously, he doesn't like he gets paid for it.
He's the best.
And he does bring that out to the people. So yeah, you're right. We got to thank him for that.
That is very very beneficial, and he deserves a lot of credit for it. A couple of general comments. The booing of Shelley, whether I'm with her or against her, and I happen to be with her, just absolutely disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of respect shown towards the town moderator by a certain person who, geez, every time he speaks, he owns more and more of Church Street. He's up to owning half of Church Street, and
Oh, you're talking about Mr. Mike.
oh yeah. And the other side of the coin with him is what he's not telling you is if the property values go up in town.
Right.
I believe they would with a new elementary school.
I think you're right.
And then he's selling houses. He's making more money.
Absolutely. And we're paying more taxes, aren't we?
But I'm saying on a personal basis, he would be making more money. He's not telling you that. He's kind of looking out for his good old self,
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess, and that's what most people seem to do is look out for themselves. And yeah, I agree with you. The snickering was crazy. I think I have been in Mike's shoes before, where I've been gavelled down by a prior moderator, so I know that doesn't feel too good. So I'll stand with him there. But on the content of most of his politics, he knows it and I know it. We just don't really agree on much of it.
Harry, I've been around a long time, and Harry Berkowitz will verify that, and there have been times that the moderator has just about thrown me out of the building. and then you move on from there. But what I would have said, or had to say at any of those times, was not self-serving. So I think you have to take Mr. I own half of Church Street with a grain of salt.
Fair enough.
And let me give some kudos to I do not know the young lady's name, but she got up and she asked for a reconsideration of the vote.
Yep.
Because what can happen is when you have 600 plus people, and then we were down to 100 plus people, because the 500 in between got what they wanted.
Right.
They couldn't stay for 3 or 4 more articles.
No.
Oh God, no! They got what they wanted.
Yep.
And they went home. But I'm not sure they were aware of, but this young lady was, and I'll give her a lot of credit.
Yep.
That could be reconsidered later by a smaller amount of people, and it can be overturned. But there's only one vote. But that stays open and alive till the meeting is gavelled, adjourned. So
True.
I want to give her credit for being a student of what's going on in that regard. Now I want to take you back when we were looking at the 20-year loan originally.
Okay.
Then they looked at it and they said, "Whoa!" And this was out in the open at the selectmen's meeting and the school building forum.
Sure.
They said, well, if we look at 20 and start doing the math, well, you know what? That number almost came to what we're going to pay now. So they said, you know what?
That's interesting.
Let's go to 30 years to make it more palatable.
Right, and then let's take that and average it out to make it more palatable.
Easier to vote, easier for the town to vote for it, easier to be palatable. So once they got that, the 30. They felt pretty good about themselves. I called you a couple of weeks back and said I would like to see them pass it at the town meeting so the majority of the town has the chance to get on and vote.
Yep.
Well, I'm going down there next Thursday, and I was going to be a yes because of the absolute necessity of what has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't bring the truth out, and I mean the whole truth, did they lie to us about the average? I don't believe so. But did they tell us the whole truth about the funding? Absolutely not. And why? They're afraid the project was going to be going under. And I am going to make a prediction right now that the project goes under.
All right.
They have no one to blame but themselves. When you don't tell the people in this town the truth, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And, of course, this is like the Trump thing. Everyone who's voting for you, for Hillary, is telling you yes. The Trump people are no. Well, this is going to be a Trump. You wait till you see the turnout. You wait till you see the crowd come out. but I'm predicting this is going to go down because of a number of things. And where are the yes people? That they won't come on the show, they won't defend it, they won't explain it. Well, I'll tell you where they are. They're up in New York with Hillary Clinton on Chappaqua. They're sitting on a couch and they're eating bonbons because they think they have this in the bag.
I don't know.
We shall see. The people will speak.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
Just have a good night, and thank you guys for putting on the show.
Anytime, man. Love to have everybody out there. I appreciate it. And, he speaks a lot of truth. I mean, I know of many, including myself, no voters that were going to vote yes that now don't know what the hell they're going to do. And some that have just said, the hell with it, I'm now not going to, just like the gentleman just said. Oh, man, All right. So let's go. We got another call coming in. We got a couple of minutes. We got emails coming in. People are just miffed and amazed. They're miffed and amazed at some of the information that they've learned. And many, like this guy says, why are we just learning about this now? Why did we learn about it at a meeting? Why wasn't all of this made public? Another email comes in. This should have been in our face. I would have been able to handle it better. Oh, it's crazy. All opinions, any opinion, always welcome. Let's see what we got going on. You are next on the Freedom Network. Hello. Hello? Oh, this must be my friends at the pub. How you guys doing? You eating steak tonight?
I just ate my steak and it was awesome.
You guys are out at the Valley Pub, right?
Yep.
All right, so it's Freedom and Steak Night, I guess, at the Valley Pub. How awesome. How you guys doing out there?
We're doing good, can you tell?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are having a hell of a time there.
always a hell of a time at Valley Pub.
Yeah, it really and truly is. I'm telling you, man, doing the show, I got to change the time of the show so I can make steak night, I think, one of these times anyway. But I appreciate you guys calling in. That's awesome.
Well, we appreciate you, and we know you appreciate us.
Oh, ain't that the truth? That's an awesome, awesome local haunt would be the Valley Pub right down near the police station. Actually, very safe part of town.
Right behind Santander Bank.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great place. Great service, good, solid food, and just a great time. And the company there. I love seeing the people there. It's a great crowd.
That's because we're all awesome people there.
Well, of course you are. Of course you are.
The staff here is phenomenal.
Yeah, the staff is good. You guys sound like you're having a great time.
Everyone, Amanda, they're all awesome.
All right. Well, shout out from the pub. I'll shout back out to the pub. Enjoy your steaks and let freedom ring.
Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Oh, that's fantastic. It's great to have the local business places tuning in, having us out there. Fantastic. And that's one of the many great businesses in Northbridge. Northbridge just has some awesome businesses that are in it. And some people that own these businesses that really care about the town, that get involved with stuff like Rob does, gets involved with a lot of stuff, a lot of charity stuff, does a lot of great things. He's brought you a new place to go have lunch. So it's really good. I like to go down there, and I like to go to a lot of them. I think there's a lot of different restaurants. I've often said that we got to do a show about restaurants in town. There's a lot of different ones, and some really do some really good stuff. But I love going to the Valley Pub. I do. I love going down there. I love the crowd of people that are down there. Look, folks, we're coming close to the end of our time. I mean, it's really coming close to the end of our time. Next week I promised for some of our listeners that don't care as much about the local stuff. I know more you do, so I'll always let the show go local. Like I said, there's never a time it can't go local. I wasn't going to go all night on about this. I wanted to talk about the caravan of people that are headed to America. I wanted to talk about circumventing the Constitution. I wanted to talk about the 3% tonight. There's so much that I did want to talk about that I won't be able to get to, but that's all right. I want to talk about bullying. I really wanted to talk about bullying. There's a whole new bullying page here in town in Northbridge. I think that's fantastic. To get some opinions out there, and we're learning things, that the school isn't really forthright in telling people maybe always what happens. Sometimes they can't. You can't just paint with a broad brush. There are laws and privacy laws and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, on the bullying thing, it's plain and simple to me. If you're bullying someone, somebody should stand up to you and hit you back. And the fact that you can get in trouble for that not just in Northridge, but anywhere, to me is disgusting. If someone gets in your face, if someone is harassing you, terrorizing you, or God forbid, physically assaults you, you put that person down. That's my advice. It's the only advice I can give you. It's the only advice I can give you. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Looks like we're having a good time over at the old pub, so that's really good. I'm happy about that, and I'm happy that everybody's down there. I know that we got some local politics coming up with Harry right now, so we're going to make some way for him. My computer lasted the whole time. Thanks for the emails. A couple more coming in. They'll kill me. I can't go through them, but they all seem to have the same sentiment. A ton of no voters that are really upset, and many of them were almost going to be yes voters. I don't know what to tell you. You had the chance. This has been the Freedom Network. Let freedom ring. Number 13, what is a tax impact? You go look it up. I'll see you later.